Here is our 10 to 15 minute lower body and spine opener. We're gonna start off on our backs and just get in a comfortable laying position. So if you have any props at home that you like to have for this, feel free to put a pillow under your head. And we're just gonna start off with our knees bent and our feet nice and flat with the ground. Feeling into the points that are connected to the ground. So the back of the head, the shoulder blades, your tailbone, and your feet. And possibly your hands and the back of your arms. And we're going to connect with our breath, taking a nice big inhale, letting our body expand as big and wide as it wants to go. And then exhaling that breath out, letting the body close back down as the core engages. Breathing in and wide. And on the exhale, letting the ribs draw in, core draws in. Two more times, breathing in and wide. And exhaling out to close down through the front. And one last one, breathing in. Seeing if we can bring in a little more of the low abs on this exhale and exhale out. We're going to initiate a pelvic tilt and tuck. So we're just going to let the sacrum be heavy, going into an anterior pelvic tilt, and then draw the low back in towards the mat to create a bit of a scoop with your low back. And you're going to tuck. So we go from this tilt, scooping under into a tuck, let your tailbone reach under, and tilting back. So just finding this really nice rhythm as we move through our low back, through our lumbar spine. And it can be a nice thought to push intentionally through the feet to help initiate this tucking motion as we bring them back down to the floor, and then we let that pressure go. So I connect with my feet, I tuck my pelvis, I use my abs to do that. I'm not really trying to clench my glutes to make anything happen here, and then I let that go. And then from here, we're gonna find our feet in a bit of a wider position, as wide as the mat if that's comfortable for you. And we're gonna let the legs tilt over one way, just allowing some rotation through the low back and through the hips. Engage the core to bring the legs back in and fall to the other side. Creating space and opening through the top side. Reach out through the knee actively. Draw in, bring them back. Fall to the other side, reaching out and long through that top leg. Core draws in, bring the legs back. A few more. Tilting over, reaching out. Drawing in. Last one, reaching out. And coming back in. We're now going to bring one foot onto the opposite thigh or femur. And we're going to intentionally think about reaching the knee away without using our hands. And then we're going to let the legs tilt over to one side, letting the foot move towards the ground if that's comfortable for you. Sometimes it's nice to have a prop here if it feels like too much of a stretch to bring your foot all the way down. And we're going to hold into this for 5 seconds. I like to let my arms go wide. Option to turn your head the opposite way. And then you're going to use your core, pull the legs back in, bring the head to center. We're going to do 4 times on this one side before we switch. Head falls opposite towards, away from where the legs go. And bring them back. 2 more just like that. Coming back, use the core. And as the legs drop out, really thinking about softening through the body once you get into that position. Not needing to hold or engage anywhere to hold this position. And then bringing the legs back up, and we'll switch sides. We're gonna find our left foot on our right femur or leg, and we're gonna intentionally reach that knee away from us and start to let the legs drop, finding the foot towards the floor or onto your prop. Option to turn your head the other way. Holding for 5 seconds. To come back, engage actively through the core. Pull the legs back up, bring the head to center. And we go again. We're gonna do 4 going this way. Holding for 5 seconds. Letting the body soften. And coming back. Head turns, legs fall. Coming back. The last one. Feel free to add an inhale and a really nice long exhale wherever you feel like you need it, especially if it's feeling tight and if you want that extra cue to let go. The exhale is a nice spot to live. All right, now we're gonna make the same stretch a little bit deeper. So we're gonna find your right foot onto your left femur, pull the legs up into your figure 4 position. We're gonna hold in this position so you can use your arms to support you, use your core, and then just tilt your legs 2 to 3 inches over to the left. So I'm stretching my right glute, and I'm actively keeping these legs pulled in as I tilt over. And this knee, if this leg is tight, it'll want to come in towards my body. So also really thinking about reaching that knee away. We'll do 1 more over. Coming back, and we switch sides. So I've got my figure 4 on the other side. I have my left foot on my right leg. I pull the leg in actively with my right side. I reach the left knee away, and I'm going to tilt to my right side. And this side is a lot tighter, so I want to let the knee come forward, but I'm going to try to not let it. And I'll also respect the range of motion, not going as far on this side. We'll try for 4 or 5. And these are a little more dynamic, so we're not holding necessarily at the end of the tilt for 5 whole seconds, just kind of going into it, moving in and out because we are under tension really the whole time as the legs are up here. All right, and then I'm gonna come out of that position, my legs draw down. I'm gonna extend my right leg out. And then with my right hand, I'm gonna pull my left knee towards my right armpit. And I'm just thinking about trying to feel some sensation through the glute area. And if there's a lot of pinching through the front groin line, that's not what we're looking for. So if you're feeling that, feel free to go into just some nice hip circles where you move through the hip joint in both directions. But I'm going to stick with this one for now, but no, that's always an option if you feel a little more pinchy in the front of the hip. And we're going to hold here, and you can play around with how much you want to come up and how much you want to go over, and often there's a bit of a sort of good spot for both of the in and up depending on your hip. And what will feel good on one will feel maybe not as good on the other, so you'll have to find that kind of ideal spot on both. And then I'm going to bring that down. My other leg comes up. I'm going to pull in and draw over. Again, feeling for some glute sensation. And if the over feels uncomfortable, go for the circles. You can also just stay into a straight position, going to the same armpit. So lots of options to play around with this move to make it comfortable for your body, because that's the most important thing. And then coming out from that position, we're now going to bring your left knee stacked over your left hip, and ideally we're going to keep this in a straight line, and I just want you to extend the heel up towards the ceiling and then bend it back to restack to tabletop. And we're going to move through this dynamically. And often when we're tight, what can happen is like this. So I really want you to stack that knee over the hip so we get a stretch through the distal hamstring a little bit more as we bend and extend. And when you extend, You're welcome to hold for a few seconds and then bend it back down. We're doing a lot more dynamic movements versus long, prolonged stretches. We'll go for 2 more. And last reach up. And then on this last reach up, hold it there and then start to flex and extend at the foot. Just getting some movement through the calf, pointing all the way and bending at the front of the ankle as you come in for 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. And we're gonna switch, stacking knee over hip, start to extend foot to ceiling, gauging your range, holding for 2 to 3 seconds, and coming back down. And you can keep the foot relatively relaxed if you would like, as we're really focusing on keeping that knee over the hip and feeling the lengthening through the sort of distal hamstring, the hamstring as they attach towards the back of the knee. And then hold that leg up there, start to flex and extend at the foot, getting into more of the calf. We're doing 10 pumps, so I think we have 4, 2, and relax, and coming back down. Okay, so now we're gonna turn onto your side. Doesn't matter what side, I'm gonna turn onto my left side first. And for your head, you're welcome to bring like a pillow if you want, or you can rest your head on your bicep. You're gonna extend your top leg, so your right leg out and long, dorsiflex that foot, and then try to send some intention out through the leg so you feel a bit of like an opening through here, okay? So I'm reaching actively out through my heel. And then from there, take the top arm, come across, hold here, and then take a nice big inhale, breathing in. Exhale to reach out through the hand and through the foot. And that might look like you go into more thoracic rotation, so your chest might meet the mat a bit more. Breathing in, exhaling out. One more time. And then I'm going to slowly change this. Bring my arm back and my foot in front, opening up through the chest here. Breathing in. Exhale out. So I'm still reaching through the foot a little bit, but I'm really focusing on this opening piece. And if you are quite tight through the chest area, you might end up being around here. So having a pillow to rest your arm might be nice. Option to take a cactus arm, so like a 90 degree as well, to come back to isolate the stretch a little bit differently. Okay, we're gonna do forward one more time. Reach the arm, reach the foot. Find length, connect to your breath, breathing in, reaching out on the exhale. Breathing in, reaching out. Coming back up, last change of shape. Open the chest, reach the foot, stay open through the front. Option to cactus arm or straight arm out. Beautiful. And then coming back in, and we're gonna switch sides. So, I'm gonna rest my head now on the other side, on my right side. And I'm gonna have my right foot long, my left foot long, my right knee bent in, and my left hand in front of me here. I'm looking to feel some length through the obliques, through the QL, so the low back potentially. And I'm gonna first connect in with my breath again, finding an inhale, exhaling out to reach, creating space in the waistline area, which loves to hold tension, especially we hold a lot of tension on one side. So one side may feel completely different than your other side. And I like to hold into this either for 3 breaths or about 10 seconds. And then we're gonna swoop that leg forward, We're gonna open the arm back behind us and open the chest. Soften through the front body, soften through your chest. Breathing in, exhaling out, exploring if you want to bend at the elbow or if you want to keep it straight. If I bend the elbow, for me that creates a lot more tension, so I'm going to roll with that. And then we're going to switch back again. Arm goes forward, leg goes behind. Holding here. Finding your breath, using your exhale as a focus for your lengthening cue. And swoop one more time. Opening up, holding here. Relaxing the muscles in your face and jaw, just letting your body be heavy. And then coming out of that position. All right, so we're gonna come into a 90-90, so we're gonna move more up into the hips now. We're gonna find both hands hugging around a knee. So I'm in the 90-90 with my right leg in front, so both my hands are gonna be on both sides of my right knee. And then I'm gonna lead with my chest, sticking my bum out behind me, so I'm trying to create some extension of my back with that cue. And then I'm just gonna scour the hips, so I'm just gonna go side to side, seeing where I feel like I need to hold into the tension a bit more. So I find going this way to be a little more effective, so I'm gonna stay here for an extra 10 seconds. And maybe lowering into it a bit more or backing off. Try to play with this movement as much as you can to see what your body needs. Let's do that on your other side. So we're gonna flip. We're gonna go hands now hugging around the left knee. I'm gonna reach my bum out behind me, so I'm arching my low back a little bit. And then I lead with my sternum forward. Often if we're tight, we're gonna wanna round. So try to lead forward. And then we're gonna scour, checking from one side to the other side. And really reaching the chest too to maintain that extension through the spine, so we're not rounding the back. And then slowly backing off. So let's stay in this 90-90 position for one last move here, in this shape at least. So you're gonna come down onto your left forearm. You're gonna reach your ribs up to the ceiling. We're gonna get into our mermaid. And then we're gonna find our nice side bend shape, nice C shape. So to do this with intention, I want you to really push those ribs up to the ceiling, arm comes down. And you could hold here, and this feels already like a really good stretch. Ideally, the bum isn't coming up on the right side, so you're still reaching down, so you have your anchor point through your right glute as you reach your right arm over. And then we'll come up. We'll do that 2 more times. So reaching up, create that C shape. Head is relaxed, neck isn't working. And coming up. One more, we're gonna add rotation here. So we side bend and we're gonna turn. Land on the pinky side of the hand, let the head be heavy. And try to hold here for an extra 10 seconds. And I find it can be really helpful if you stay tall through your supportive arm. So as I'm stretching my right arm here, I'm actively staying tall on my left, so I'm not letting myself sink. And that'll help maintain some tension so then you feel the stretch a bit more. And then slowly we come back up and we're gonna switch sides. Okay, so now we're gonna come onto the form on the other side. We'll create our C shape. So I'm reaching down through my left glute. I bring my left arm up and I'm just feeling tension from the armpit down through the low back potentially. And I'm making sure I'm not like sinking or falling into the right leg. I'm really pushing actively through my right arm. And then I'm gonna come back up. Left arm reaches. And coming up. One more. And you can hold these longer if you would like. like to do these more dynamically, but probably a 10-second stretch, 5 to 10 seconds is really ideal. And then allow rotation on this third repetition. So I'm going to turn, land on the pinky side of my left hand, stay tall through the right, and hold. Head is heavy. Don't need that neck or jaw. Coming back up and then resetting. Okay, so now bring your attention up through the neck a little bit. Let's just check in. So we're gonna have both hands pressing down into the mat, and as if there's intention and a connection to the floor. And we're just gonna drop left ear to left shoulder as you push down through the right hand gently. Feeling through the side of the neck. And the push down really helps just connect to the collarbone to create this downward stretch, so we get a little bit more out of this movement. Slowly coming back up, connect with the left fingertips, right ear heavy, side bend over. Eyes can be closed, jaw is relaxed. And coming back up. Let's do one more of those on each side. Connect to the hand, side bend over. And play around with like, how does it feel to nod forward a little bit as you fold, like go chin in. That might feel more intentional and purposeful for your body. Side bend over, chin in. And coming back and creating a couple circles with the shoulders. And then we're gonna find our hands in front of us. If sitting in a bent knee position is comfortable for you, that's great. If not, you can always do these movements in a chair or put a cushion underneath your pelvis. You can also do it with your legs outstretched if that's more preferred. We're gonna go head heavy now and do our spinal roll down in sitting. So we're gonna round through the spine, let the hands come forward in space, letting the head be heavy, swaying right to left, and then sliding the hands back and restacking up, opening through the shoulders. One more time, head heavy, round if that feels comfortable in your body, and coming up, and reset. All right, thank you so much for joining me on this hip and spinal mobility series in a laying and seated position and a little sideline. I will do one in standing shortly as well.